And so people was asking me about like when the movies and stuff first came out, Jigga Jones and everything. What did I do when I first got my money? Because it was like a big old check. It was big money back then. And it's kind of funny how it happened because they had sent the initial check was like $10,000. They sent a check to my house, right? And I called the producer man, and I said, "Hey, what's with this check right here?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's your first royalty check you're getting." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, how am I gonna cash it?" Because I ain't had no bank account, and I just got out of jail and everything happened. So it's kind of like, well, I thought maybe, I thought maybe they send me one of them checks. You used to do checks with people. Anyway, man. So the producer was like, "Yeah, you gotta deposit that in a bank account." I ain't had no damn bank account. I never had no use for no bank account. If I didn't check money in my hand, I didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I went down to the bank, and the producer came with me. He was cool. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go with you, help you get your life in order and all this old shit, right?" So they asked you for two forms of ID. So I gave him my driver's license and I gave him my pro league card. And the producer was mad. He looked at me like, "Nigga, why you gonna give him a pro league card? What's wrong with you?" But he said two forms of state ID. I mean, it's like, yeah, CDC card, fuck. And the lady, when she saw the felony parole card hit, she pushed back from the table like it was like a snake had been laid on the table and was coming after her. Bitch took all the paperwork and took off. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny, And it took a little while, but they did get my bank account going. And so, yeah, I wasn't really sure about how bank withdrawals go. The only bank withdrawals I knew was when we was robbing one. So the first time I was going to go buy a car, and went to the little car dealer, and it was an Escalade. You guys seen it. And the Escalade, and I went to go buy that, and the dude was like, "Sit down, we'll talk about it. I'll tell you how much." "Man, just tell me how much motherfucker the goddamn car is going to be." And he's like, "Oh, we'll sit down, we'll come up with some numbers." I said, "Don't give me to sit down and come up with some numbers, motherfucker. Look, tell me how much to the dollar it is going to be for me to drive this motherfucker off this property. You ain't got time for no bullshit." And he's like, "Well, we can do finance." I said, "Look here, man, just give me the motherfucking dollar amount. Write it down on this piece of paper so I can go to the bank, get you the money, and come back and drive this motherfucker." So he's like, "Oh, you're going to pay cash?" "Well, obviously, nigga. Shit. Nigga ain't got no credit." Anyway, so dude writes down the thing, goes inside, comes out with this piece of paper, with tax, license, blah, 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 blah. And it was something like, for that core back then, it was like 11,000 something, So he writes a number down, and I go to the bank, So I'm on the bus back then, So I'm on the bus, ride the bus, like a thing they do, and get off the bus, right down there. And I'm in the Inglewatts, in Inglewood, nigga. So, that's what ran off my boy Inglewood family. He said, "Oh, what's up, nigga?" So, "Yeah, there's a woo." I said, anyway, man, don't even get started that bullshit. So I go into the bank, and I'm looking good. I got a white t-shirt on, some khakis. I got my little hat back then. I had a little nice little hat with golf clubs on it, and I had brought a duffel bag to bring the cash in. So I'm standing, now I know what I look like to them. A Jericho nigga coming to the bank with an empty duffel bag standing in line, right? I know now, but I didn't know then, right? If I knew now, but I didn't know. Anyway, so I get up there, and I hand the lady the letter that the dude gave me, with all this. I said, "I need this much money in cash," and slipped it across the table. Well, somebody in the bank saw Jericho nigga, empty duffel bag, hand a teller a note. That motherfucker hit the silent alarm. I didn't know nothing about it. I'm just there kicking it. The lady was like, "Oh, okay." So she went and she said, "Oh, she called me my real name, Mr. Washington. We would give you a check for this." I said, "Look, I don't want no check. I want cash. I want the exact dollar amount that's on this paper, and bring me the cash. And just throw it in this bag right here, and I'm out. So you're like, "Oh, it's dangerous to carry this much cash." I said, "It ain't dangerous for me to carry the motherfucking cash. I'll tell you that right now. It's dangerous for somebody to try to push up on me and try to take this motherfucker." But anyway, I didn't know what they was alluding to, And so I'm up there I'm sitting there. Next thing I see all these police rolling up to the motherfucker. I said, "Man, what the fuck doesn't have something to happen around here?" So then they come back and say, "Oh, it's going to be an hour till we can get you the cash." I said, "Okay, I'll wait an hour, cool." But so I go down and sit on that little couch over there on the side. And when I turn, I'm sitting on the couch, I'm looking. "Oh, what at all these cops up in this motherfucker. They looking at me. I didn't know what the fuck, you know. And the bank manager's over there. Blah, 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 blah. Turns out they hit the silent alarm, you know, because they thought I was robbing the motherfucker. Because I'm Jericho nigga coming up in khakis. You know, I slide a note, and the duffel bag up on the thing. I guess they thought I was robbing the motherfucker. And normally they would be right. But yeah, I was trying to get some money out, you know. So after a while, they give me all the money and everything cool. And the Inglewood policemen, they take off. They laugh and they take off. You know, I didn't figure out what happened until later. You know, I'll tell you why. So I get my ass back on the bus with my duffel bag full of money. You know, I'm sitting on the bus. Boom, 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 boom. Riding on the bus. Riding on the bus. Riding on the bus. This kind of nigga riding on the bus, right? So get off the bus at the motherfucking dealership. And this motherfucker's talking to somebody else, bullshitting or some shit. Oh, yeah, fuck that shit. And I'm already like in the mood. It's hot and shit. You know, Jericho juice dripping down the back of my neck and shit, hot. I said, damn. So I took my duffel bag and said, hey, dog, what's up, man? Hey, what up, man? And he was like, he looked at me and I said, oh, yeah. I threw the duffel bag up at him. Bop, it landed right in front of him, you know. What's all this? I said, I want the escalator, man. Go get my keys, nigga. You know. So he opened up the bag and he saw the money. And then I figured he was going to go count it or some shit. He disappeared with the motherfucker bag. You know, sneaky motherfucker. And I guess he had called the police because they said he was supposed to not spend over $9,000 in cash or whatever the fuck it was, you know. And so the next thing I know, here come the Inglewood police again. And it's funny because it's one of the same motherfuckers that was at the bank that shows up. And, you know, they looked at everything, was cool. And then the guy said, well, I had to call the police because, you know, you gave me more than $9,000 in cash, and I have to report that to the cops, and it looks suspicious in a duffel bag. I said, nothing suspicious, no damn duffel bag came from the bank. You know, but the motherfucking police had told him, hey, that we saw this guy actually get this money from the bank earlier. We already had a call on this motherfucker, right? So I got the car. And they gave me the keys, and the guy said, well, that was highly irregular, so you come here paying with cash, right? I said, look here, man. If you don't want a motherfucker to come here with more than $9,000 cash, sell your cars for less money, nigga. You know, got in my motherfucking roller. Bah, I was out. But that's when people ask me about their story, because motherfuckers done exaggerated the shit and say I got proned out and they tried to shoot at me and all that. That's all bullshit, man. Motherfuckers make the story bigger than it was, you know. Nigga just had to go buy a car and, you know, have my bank account and all that shit. And all that shit. But I'll tell you about that shit sometime. But yeah, you know, that's what it is. You know, that's the bullshit that happened. And it's back in the day, I didn't know. I was just, you know, a fool coming up with money and, you know, all this YouTube money and all this other shit that was coming at me at the time. That's how I spent that shit like a crazy motherfucker, you know, like a nigga say do on the Jones. Jigga boo, I'm never PC, I'm always me. LANSD.